Hey guys, do you want to see how I did this stitch mouth look? Just continue watching. Alright, so let's get started. First, I went ahead and removed my lipstick. I already had makeup on from the day, so I didn't need to do my makeup. And I just went ahead and started applying tissue paper, well, tissue and latex around my mouth area. And I use a disposable sponge with this latex because that way I could just throw it away afterwards, and I'm pretty sure latex will just ruin your sponges. And I just kept applying layer after layer of that with the tissue, and then more latex on top, and then more tissue, and then more latex. I'm not really sure how many layers I did, but it was quite a few. I wanted to make sure it was thick enough to actually sew through it. So just keep that in mind. Like, try to imagine like if you tried to sew through this, like would it rip? And you didn't want it to rip, so you had to make it thick enough so it wouldn't. And you could have done this on I could have done this on a face cast, but this was kind of like spur of the moment. I came home from work and decided I wanted to do this, and it was like somewhere between midnight and 3 a.m. when I did this, so I didn't really feel like doing it on face cast. I kind of just wanted to do it and have it done. But afterwards you can save it. I did save it. I still have it, actually. I then started to add some cotton balls, just stretched out, and started to spread that over top just a little bit, just to add a little more strength and structure to it, so that I could actually sew through this and it wouldn't rip. and the added cotton would make it a little harder for it to rip. And I did the same as I did with the tissue, just add the cotton and latex on top of that, and that's pretty much it. I then used the blow dryer to dry this pretty quickly. I put it on high, and I think like either the warm or the cool setting. And as you can see, it's starting to turn yellow. That's how you know it's dry. So next I went in with some foundation, and this foundation is a little bit darker than my actual foundation because the latex mask sort of thing is lighter than my actual skin, so the foundation needs to be darker. I then went in with some translucent powder just to set it so it was no longer tacky or wet. And I was just showing you the foundation I used. I used the NYX Total Control drops, which is pretty good for something like this because it's so thin and liquidy, and there's so many different shades, so it's really great for stuff like this. And next I went in with some red eyeshadow just to kind of like start creating some bruising around the mouth area. And then I also went in with some black eyeshadow as well. Okay, so this part is very dangerous, so just be really careful. But yeah, I just had to cut a slit in this. So I made sure my mouth was away from the scissors. Like it kind of blew my cheeks out and it pushed the mask away from my mouth. So it created like an opening where I could cut without cutting myself. That makes sense. So yeah, I basically just cut a hole in this mouthpiece, and then I went in and started painting the inside black and red and various shades of bruising. And I used my scar wheel for this. Now it's time for the thread. And I use a pretty thick piece of thread and a curved needle. Sorry you can't really see, but I was trying to like look into the mirror as I was doing this so I wouldn't poke myself in the face. But yeah, the little mask I made is pretty thick, so it's kind of a little difficult to get the needle through because the needle is a little thicker than a normal needle. But of course you could use a thinner needle and thinner thread if you would like, but I want something that really like stood out. So I use a pretty thick thread. And I just went ahead and sewed up my lips. Well, sew the two pieces of mask together. Which is why I wanted to create that middle section. Why I wanted to cut that out so that you could really see the thread and see that it was sewn. And be careful not to poke yourself in the nose or anything. And the mouth did start to pull away from my face a little bit as I was sewing it, so I used some Rose-Aid to stick it back onto my face. But you can use latex or whatever, or spirit gum, whatever you have. So then I just went in with some paint, some red, brown, black paint to create more bruising around the mouth and the face area in general, because I'm assuming there would be a lot of bruising if somebody actually sewing your lips shut. And I'm just kind of dabbing it to blend it. And I'm going in with some specks of blood gel around the mouth, which is a thicker blood. It's more like a coagulated blood, like a clotted sort of blood. So I'm putting that like mostly on the inside and around right where the stitching is. I'm using a pretty fine tip brush to do that. Like an eyeliner brush. I then took some stage blood, which is a thinner blood, and just kind of started dripping it on there and in the mouth area and around the mouth area. And this stuff got all over my carpet because it's really, really thin. I should have gotten a dropper for this, but I didn't. I didn't think about it. It was like 3 a.m. I didn't feel like getting up. So then I used a stippling sponge and then stippled some of the stage blood around the mouth area as well and on my face. And this stuff definitely did splash everywhere, which I did not expect, but it splashed everywhere. Which is why I'm dabbing it, because it kind of started to drip a little more than I wanted it to. And then I went in with some eyeliner and smudged out my eyes, because I'm assuming you would be crying or something if your mouth was sewn together, because you would be in pain. I know I would be in pain. And I'm going to use some oil to smudge that out under my eyes. And I'm stippling just a little bit more blood on. And that is it. This could easily turn it into a scarecrow makeup look, but like I said, it was 3 a.m. and I was ready to go to bed after this, so yeah. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.